Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 3, Episode 17, The Team. Gotta say, I was not expecting this episode to go the way that it did. I certainly loved it. I think it had some really crazy moments. I mean, obviously, the reveal at the end was very well done. They did a lot of great lead ins, like, oh, look what Yo Yo's doing, and this is suspicious, and that's suspicious. Why'd she pull out that gun? Because that was a weird scene. So, they definitely did a good job. Kind of putting it all on Yo-Yo and things being really weird with her character and stuff. But I love the way it played out. I thought it was really cool. The only thing I didn't enjoy about the episode was the fact that the mission technically was like, oh, they saved everyone. I thought that was going to be the whole episode. I'm like, it's four people, it's like four people against the world sort of deal. It's like a bunch, Hydra members and all this stuff. And it ended up being like 2 seconds of the episode, really. I still enjoyed it because they did have, after it happened, and it's like someone could be infected because they found out the stuff from Malick. I was like, okay, it's still really cool because it's a crazy little mystery episode with super powered characters. But I was disappointed with the whole mission aspect, and it's like, alright, it's the Secret Warriors. They even had the special title and stuff like Secret Warriors Unite, I believe, was the thing for the promo. And now it's Fallen Agent, which I can't wait to watch the next episode. Um, but it's like, that sucked. That was like that was seriously the only thing I didn't like about the episode was the fact that the big thing, which seemed like it's going to be like the mission and these four characters teaming up to save everybody. It's like, how are they going to do it? Because they're a brand new team. That's what I was looking for. And I was like, man, they're going to have to do all this stuff and they're going to have to survive. And it's not going to be like super duper easy or anything. And it kind of was. I mean, they have superpowers. So it was oddly, in that sense, it made, it was actually perfectly done. Because it's like, well, they do have superpowers. And, when you have people with guns, um, shooting bullets and a dude can melt guns and then the woman next to him could just knock everybody out in a second. It's like, I could see that ending super fast, but for a TV show, it's like, that sucks, because that seemed like the big thing. It was like, the Secret Warriors unite, and they're gonna save everybody. It's gonna be a whole dramatic episode and everything, and I would have loved for it to have been that, and then this episode, or at least like the rest of the episode, took place, I guess technically this week, as it's the most recent one, but that really was the only thing. It was still really cool. The action that we did get to see. I think my favorite scene was the elevator one where it's like, they're trying to figure out how many guys. And then, I can't think of his name or even his superhero name, but, he melts the bullets and then Yo-Yo takes everybody out and it's like, oh, I guess you were right. And they just walk. It's like, alright, boom, saved everybody, took out all the bad guys. And captured Malick, and he was done, and that was really it. And I was like, it was still cool what we got to see, but it was just done so quickly. It was like that kind of blows a little bit that it was it was so fast. I really think it was only like, maybe 10 minutes, if it was even 10 minutes. Honestly. But it was cool. It was still cool, but I do definitely wish it was longer. I think everyone's going to say that about this episode. I haven't looked at any other reviews, but I can kind of imagine that being a consensus. Like, it seemed like the whole promo was like Secret Warriors uniting and stuff, and it's like, oh, they united, and then it was done in 10 minutes, and then everything else was, sort of a, instead of a who done it, just who is it sort of mystery episode, which is, like I said, still fun, but it was just kind of, that was like really the only disappointing thing, and I'm talking about it like it's so horrible, but I really wish it was longer, because that seemed like it was going to be the whole episode. And even with superpowers, as a team dynamic, and even with superpowers, they're still going up against basically an army. It was exciting. Like, of course they're going to survive, but how are they going to do it? Like, when are they going to get split up, and what's going to happen, stuff like that. So I was a little disappointed that it was over so fast, and fortunately it still picked right up, because when I was disappointed I was like, man, that really sucks, because I thought that was going to be the whole episode. That blows, and it's over now. But then it turned into Malick giving Coulson that info, like, hey, it's an infection, it could be super fast, we don't know, no one knows how it infects people, but it's super easy, and any of your members could be infected. And Coulson instantly goes on lockdown. Like, even if he doesn't know or it's not true, it's not a risk we can take. And they have this little mystery going around, and Scott or Daisy. I'm surprised I've done that. I think I did that for the last episode too, or maybe it was two ago. But the Daisy is like, okay. She tells the team like, we're on lockdown. I forgot what fake reason they gave, but I think it was to clear something. I can't remember what it was now, but it was fake, and she kind of figured that, and she goes to talk to May and stuff, and everything's like, all right, all the humans get to know, but none of the inhumans get to know. So they have this little mystery. It's like, all right, we need to figure this out. We need to see if anyone's infected, how they get infected, how it spreads, what's happening. Is Malick even telling the truth? And it goes really crazy, because once again they have the little hint with Yo-Yo, because she was the one that looked at the bombs and stuff. And they have the scene with Mac looking at the cameras and everything, and she's jumping around, which I thought was weird that they gave him the line where he's like, "No, I'm just seeing things." He knows she has super speed. I didn't think that was so. I thought it was weird that they made him say that, because it's like, well, yeah, he'd see her as moving like a tiny bit, but instead they had it where he's like, "Oh, no, I'm just seeing things." I thought that was a weird line to give him, because of course you'd see like tiny blurs like shooting super quick, like in a split second. Which visually, even though it was really just like basically all they did was edit it, and she turned a little, so simple editing, and they just add in like for a split second you could kind of see the blur. I think it was on like once or twice you could actually see the blur, but I thought that was a neat little trick in how they did that. But I thought that was such a weird line to give him, because he knows she has super speed. It's like, why would he think he was seeing things? Like, that should automatically happen. Like, oh, it looks like she's moving, but almost like jumping around, like teleporting almost. And I just thought, like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, she has super speed, but they gave him that weird. It was weird to me. I don't know if it was weird to you guys, but I thought it was weird where he's like, "How I'm seeing things now," but it's like, she has super speed, and she gets sucked back to that point. That's why he gave her that name. So it was just interesting. I thought that was interesting that they gave him that line, but things get crazy, and then we have our quartet of Inhumans, and it's like, all right, we need to figure out what the heck's happening. We either take off or we figure it out. They're going back and forth. We have kind of our two S.H.I.E.L.D. members versus our two new Inhuman members, and it's like things are getting pretty crazy. Yo-Yo is like, basically she's like full on establishment is the problem sort of deal, which I thought was kind of cool. And then it's just like, it's chaos. They don't know what to do, and it's just going crazy. And then it's like, all right, let's all get out of here. And then Daisy leads them to kind of the safe room. It's like, okay, totally not Daisy. Why would she do that if she was, if she was the villain? And it goes through everything, and then they say that it's Lincoln. I figured it wasn't Lincoln. I still thought it might be Yo-Yo. I didn't think it was anyone because of... And I guess that was the point. I think I kind of fell for the obvious choice, and sometimes that works. Sometimes it's like I fall for the obvious choice. Other times I don't. This time I definitely did. It was like they gave all those little hints and stuff. I think the biggest thing was probably the gun for me, even more than the bomb. I really thought it was the gun thing, but it didn't make sense really. And with Malick's death, with the explosion thing, it was like, okay, well, maybe the explosion is what killed, or maybe it was like a weird sonic thing. It was a blue disc that kills people, so it's like maybe it was like a crazy sonic type of explosion thing. I thought that made sense because it's S.H.I.E.L.D. They have all sorts of weird technology. So it was like, okay, that makes sense, and we don't actually see the scene. It was just the vision of the scene. But it goes through everything, and we find out, of course, it was Daisy. And I totally called it that she was probably the one that killed him. My reasoning was totally different, that maybe she just got really mad about a mission or something, the space mission or whatever, and she killed him. I can't remember exactly what I said for my last review, but I was like, well, if it wasn't him, if it wasn't Ward, which made sense because of the whole explosion stuff, it would have to be Daisy because it was him getting crushed inward. So I was like, it has to be Daisy, and I was totally right. Reasoning, I remember it was nothing like she was taken over or anything like that. So reasoning was totally wrong, but I called it that based on how it looked, it was Daisy that actually killed Malick. So I was kind of happy with that. I was like, my whole lead up to this kill, totally different, but it was still Daisy, so that was cool. And so she crushes him. He's gone. Leaves the bomb to get rid of the evidence. So Malick is out of the show now. And she's been taken over by Ward. And she destroys the whole place. We have a very interesting ending scene because we have Fitz and Simmons. They finally kiss in this episode. And it's not like they kissed and it's like, something's going to happen. We don't know. It's like, I think she says, it's been enough time or we've waited long enough or something like that. And it's like, alright, so this is like officially their relationship starting kiss. Even though they've kissed like 3 times this season, this is like the last one, um, that won't go into like a crazy weird conversation where they still don't know where they want to take things. So I was happy about that. That was good for them. Of course, then dust starts falling. It's like, okay, things are getting crazy and shaky, and stuff's falling around, falling all over the place. And Daisy destroys everything. She destroys the door. Great shot of Coulson when he like slams on the door and he's yelling her name and stuff. She destroys the whole facility, or at least the top compound of the facility, and she's gone. So now we have the fallen agent and stuff, and who knows how that's going to affect the rest of the Inhumans, because with Yo-Yo, she was super pissed, and they did a lot in this episode as well early on, building up her relationship with Mac and them kind of having feelings for each other. That junk was gone at the end. It'll probably come back, and it makes me wonder, and I think I mentioned this in my last review as well, and I think this was a part of Sky killing Malick, was like whoever died during that mission would be so important to her or whatever. But I just thought that could still be Mac. What if it was Mac and he had her necklace or something like that, and she gave it to him because it's Mac and they have feelings for each other, and he ends up getting killed off, which really sucks. I don't want Mac to go. I don't want anyone to die, but obviously somebody's dying, and for some reason they have Yo-Yo's necklace. So that was the obvious thing where it was like I didn't think it was actually her, because that just seemed like too open of a hint, but they also did like 2.5 open hints in this episode to make it too obvious. So fall for some, don't fall for others. I don't know. Um, I don't know. It's interesting. I'm definitely looking forward to this next episode. Of course, I definitely want to know what you guys thought about this one. So please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts, and whether you've seen the episode or not. I would love to know what you think will come of Daisy being with Ward. Like, she's under his mind control. They'll probably find a cure because they've taken samples of everyone now. So they might actually be able to test her cells and figure out what can we use, chemically speaking, or maybe even inhuman-wise, to get rid of kind of the spell over her body. Because it's a brand new test, so they might not figure that out in like the very next episode. Like, how do we cure it? Um, but maybe that'll happen because she's infected. Maybe they'll get some clue and it'll actually work for them. But I, it should be crazy. I know it's gonna be crazy. That's all I can think is like it's gonna be crazy, and I'm curious if she'll still be bad when that sort of scene happens when the ship blows up. Like, will she still be on the wrong side because of the mind control, or will they have cured her by then? That I think would be interesting because she'll be, if she's still with Ward, she might be like almost 100% like directly responsible for that ship blowing up in space. If she's still on the wrong side, I think that would just be a good dynamic for her character, because it would give her such a dark moment that she wasn't in control of. It's not like when she was trying to find out where like that Inhuman hate group was from, the Watchdogs. It wouldn't be like that when she destroyed that guy's car and was threatening him, and she wasn't actually going to kill him anyway. It would be like she killed someone completely, or she was at least like the main cause for someone dying on her team. And then when she's finally released from it, it's like that was her, even though it wasn't her, it was still her. So I think that would be a cool arc. It would suck if that had to happen to her. Clearly, she's lost more than enough in this show, especially with the finale of the last season. She's everything crazy. But I think that would be a cool little moment. It would be really crazy if she was directly involved in that, and then she finally gets free afterwards, and she kind of just suffers through that. Maybe in the whole, or most of the next season or something. That's what she has to kind of suffer through. So I don't know if that'll be the case or not. I just know it's going to be crazy. But Of course, like I said, I want to know what you guys think is going to happen with that. And of course, what you guys thought about this whole episode in general. So please comment below, let me know. And thanks for watching.